We're about to enter Beverly Safier's domain. She's the president of Movie Rags, and it's a costume company, right?
Yes, it is. It's a costume rental and construction company.
Well, let's take a step up to your domain, if
Come
you
on
will.
up.
So, Beverly, you used to do this in L.A., and now you're here in Georgia.
I am.
Can you tell us why you took your Movie Rags company and brought it here to Sonoy, Georgia?
I got tired of the traffic in LA. Here, I don't have to fight the traffic. Atlanta has a wonderful traffic flow, and I'm also at Raleigh Studios here at Riverwood, and the traffic is not that heavy. It's a delightful, beautiful little town. I'm as happy as I can be here. It's a busy place, but it's not so much congestion that you're miserable.
Yeah, and we've been here our whole lives, and you know, the traffic has picked up quite a bit in the last 30 years, but it's still pretty wonderful. Now, tell us what we're looking at. This is a room filled with hats, and there's a rhyme to them. You've got the straw ones over here. Tell us a little bit about that.
I have most of my better hats over here. These hats were used all different time periods, I would say from the late 1800s all the way to present time. And they're, I just separated them out basically as to when in the day you would wear them. Like these would be work hats over here, or straw hats,
yeah.
Or basically for summer wear. A lot of the winter hats are over here. They're the heavier velvets and the felts. And the time periods, like I said, range all over. This hat right here is particularly beautiful. It's an authentic cloche. Look at that. This hat's 90 years old.
Wow.
And look at the condition. Isn't it gorgeous? Claire Forlani wore this in the Bobby Jones story, which was shot in Atlanta. Lovely.
And that was such a lovely movie.
It was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Beautiful period.
Really
we
good
shot,
production.
we shot most of the time in Atlanta. We did spend 3 weeks in Scotland and sometime 1 week, I think, in LA. But most of it was right here in Atlanta.
Now, when you work on productions and you are called upon to find certain pieces, where do you find, like this one was 90 years old, where would you find that production, or that piece?
I look everywhere. I travel a lot and I look everywhere for vintage and really special pieces that are in good condition. I'm also a costume designer, so I design my own movies. I was the designer for Bobby Jones.
Right.
So I picked up a lot of stuff in Scotland. I picked up some things in England. And then a lot of it most of it actually came from North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. I was able to get vintage, beautiful pieces just going into people's homes and saying, do you have old clothing in a wardrobe trunk stuck away in the attic? And sure enough, they did.
Well, and
it
you
was
find a new life for it too. Yeah.
Oh yes. And it's there forever on the screen.
Yeah.
That wonderful piece that Grandma wore is now on the screen forever.
Well, and I probably insulted your warehouse here earlier when I said it really looks like a cross between a department store and Goodwill. And you pointed out that there are things in this room that you could never find in Goodwill or a department store. And why don't you take us through and show us each one of these rooms and tell us what they are?
I'm setting this room up with vintage undergarments, which are something that's necessary to give a period costume the proper look. Foundation garments were used many years ago, and the dress just simply won't fit right without them. So I'm stocking those here, and then I have things here that are just absolutely beautiful. I have a lot of 1930s and 40s things here, like this. This is so magnificent. In excellent condition, just beautiful. And we have some pieces here that we want to repair, and then we also build. If we have an old piece that's falling apart, we will try to find a fabric that's very close to that and rebuild the costume exactly by this, take it apart and cut every piece and put it back together exactly the way it was.
Well, and then you also have sizing issues too with the particular actress or actor. And
today's woman and man are a lot bigger than they were.
Yeah, taller, right?
A lot taller, a lot bigger. Our whole body structure is totally different. So a lot of things have to be remade. This is something special. I love these. When I went to Scotland, I went to Pringles of Scotland, and I asked them if they would be willing to go back into their archives and pull out their patterns from 1930 and make some pieces up for the movie, and they did. These are remade authentic 1930s patterns, the same weave, the same pattern, the same coloring, everything.
And they did Bobby Jones?
Yeah. Claire Forlani wore this, and it's just beautiful. They did a set for me in blue and in pink.
Who was it? It was Jim Caviezel?
Jim Caviezel, Malcolm McDowell, Claire Forlani, Jeremy Northam, Brett Rice.
And the movie made its premiere in Atlanta, and it was just wonderful, and very lovely production, which is a testament to what you do, because that's a very high-end, very authentic-looking production. Regardless of the quality of the ultimate movie, the look of it is something that you spend a lot of time on. So that is narratively versus the production.
I had a beautiful crew. They were just so devoted to it and kept the continuity and the look of the show intact throughout, and it turned out to be beautiful.
I understand that there is a production that you guys have just started, that Movie Rags has just started working on, that is particularly near and dear to you. And can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, it's called Renee's Story, and it's just a beautiful story of redemption and inspiration and love and caring and nurturing. It's about a young girl that was so depressed and had so many issues in her life that she started cutting herself. And I know, isn't that terrible? But unfortunately, there are a lot of young people that do that. She did it to the point that it almost severed the muscle in her arm, and she almost died from it. But it's her story about healing. It's her story about faith, and it's her story about coming back and being stronger than ever and just being an important person in everyone's life. And that's her story. It's part of To Write Love on Her Arms.
And you guys are doing the wardrobe for this, and
I'm
it's
doing
set.
the costume design
Is it set in it's set in the music world? Is that it?
It is. Yes. We have a lot of the Christian bands that are doing the show, and it's just, the music is awesome. It's something that every teenager would love to hear, love to see, and hopefully they will go to see it.
Well, Renee's Story, it should be out soon, I guess in the last year.
About a year.
A year, okay.
Yeah, we haven't started shooting it yet.
Well, that's great. I am here with Beverly, and she has a wonderful, wonderful warehouse of all these great clothes that have been used on all kinds of movies. Raleigh Studios in Sonoy, Georgia isn't just about warehouses and psych walls and places for people to change and get into makeup and everything. It's also about having all this expanse. They've got a lake here. One of the local filmmakers, Jason Wynn, shot his first short film, narrative short film, Last Bullet here, and we shot that in the woods back here. So there's all kinds of options available on a studio that has this much land and these many options.
My name's Paul Lombardi. I'm with Full Scale Effects Georgia. You're watching the Film Fix.
Now, Chase, you have done quite a few high-end productions, one of which was Beautiful Dreamer. You did that at Universal in Los Angeles. Another one is Undertaking Betty. It had Naomi Watts in it. It had Alfred Molina in it.
Which we shot in Wales.
And you shot that in Wales. That had Christopher Walken in it, too?
It did, yeah.
Yeah. So what is a production that you think you'd like to bring here to Sonoy, to Raleigh, and produce here?
Well, the perfect answer to this question is I'm trying to do a movie about Pele, the soccer legend Pele, as a boy, as an 11-year-old peasant boy from the streets of Brazil. Pele's a worldwide household name. However, most people don't know, and why would they, the story of how this kid came to be, how he came to be the legend that he is. It's a great story. It's a movie that wants to be presented as though it were in Bauru, Brazil. However, we're in Sonoy, Georgia, and Raleigh Riverwood could easily double that location. We would have to, all the interiors could be shot on these stages. There's ample footage. There are 15,000 square foot stages. We could create any set we need. The exteriors, we might go to a high school football field and recreate a soccer field. Everything else, it's all production value, and there are many talented production individuals here in Georgia. Some of them have just gotten here from LA and Florida and North Carolina and Louisiana. So the crew base is growing here. This is possibly a $15 to $20 million movie, and we could absolutely shoot that film here, and that's what I intend to do.
There's a lot of land here at Raleigh. It's not just about these buildings, and so there's a lot of opportunities that aren't just in these inside that Raleigh has to offer. Thanks a lot, Chase.
My pleasure.